What if the words meant to break, you became the fire that forged your destiny? I grew up in a house where Mom's voice was the loudest thing in the room. Every day, she'd remind me of Dad, how he'd dreamed big, chased wild ideas, and ended up with nothing but a bottle and a string of failures. You're just like him, Ethan, she'd say, her eyes sharp as knives. You'll be a loser too, wasting your life on pipe dreams. Her words weren't just warnings. They were verdicts, heavy as iron, chaining me to a future I didn't want. But I wasn't Dad. I wasn't going to let her prophecy define me. The small town we lived in didn't help. Everyone knew everyone's failures, and Dad's were legend. He'd tried to build a machinea contraption to harness wind energy for the whole town. He'd sketched blueprints, spent nights in the garage, and promised Mom it'd change everything. It didn't. The machine broke, the bank took our savings, and Dad took to drinking. By the time I was 16, he was gone, leaving behind a trail of whispers and a son who carried his shame. Mom worked double shifts at the diner to keep us afloat, and she never let me forget it. Don't be like him, she'd snap when I doodled inventions in my notebook. Get a real job. Don't chase fantasies. But I couldn't stop. I saw things, gears, circuits, possibilities spinning in my head like constellations. I'd sneak into the old garage, where Dad's rusted tools still lay, and tinker with scraps. It wasn't just a hobby. It was a rebellion against her words, a way to prove I could be more than her warning. By 22, I was working odd jobs fixing cars, hauling boxes while sketching in secret. Mom's voice echoed louder than ever. You're wasting your life, Ethan. One night, after a brutal shift, I found one of Dad's old blueprints tucked in a drawer. It was flawed but brilliant, a spark of what could have been. That's when I made a choice, not just to dream, but to act. I wasn't going to let fear or her words stop me. I'd finish what Dad started, not for him, but for me. I spent every spare dollar on parts, every free hour in the garage. I studied engineering online, piecing together knowledge from free courses and forums. The machine took Shopee's sleek wind turbine, small enough for a backyard but powerful enough to light a home. I called it the Spark. Each bolt I tightened felt like a defiance of Mom's predictions. But doubt crept in. What if she was right? What if I was just chasing Dad's ghost? The town fair was my chance. They had a contest for local inventors, with a $10,000 prize and a shot at a grant. I entered the Spark, my heart pounding as I set it up under the skeptical eyes of neighbors. Mom was there, arms crossed, her face a storm cloud. You're embarrassing yourself, she muttered. I ignored her, focusing on the hum of the turbine as it spun, flawless and steady, powering a string of lights brighter than the fair's neon signs. The judges were stunned. This could change small-town energy, one said. The crowd murmured, not with pity, but awe. I won the prize, but more than that, I won a contract to install sparks across the county. The local paper ran a headline. Local son's invention lights up the future. For the first time, people looked at me and didn't see Dad's failure. They saw Ethan, the guy who made it happen. Mom didn't say a word when I showed her the check. Her silence was louder than any apology. I didn't need her to say she was wrong. I'd proven it. The money went to more prototypes, and soon, sparks were in backyards, powering homes, cutting bills. I wasn't just building machines. I was building a legacy, one that rewrote Dad's story and mine. Years later, I stood in my own workshop, now a hub for young inventors like me. Mom visited once, her eyes softer, tracing the rows of turbines ready for shipment. I didn't want you to hurt like he did, she said quietly. I nodded, understanding her fear, but not carrying it anymore. I'd taken her words, the ones meant to cage me, and turned them into fuel. The Spark wasn't just a machine. It was my one move, the choice to believe in myself when no one else did. And that, more than anything, shut her up forever.